sinabi nila na retroactive itong pag-i-implement from November 26, 2020 up to the present. So the question is, why retroactive? Bakit hindi siya prospective? From June 20, 2021, kung saan noon lang nila sinabi at ipinaalam sa mga hospitals na at sa mga miyembro na ito na ngayon ang coverage ng ating COVID-19, intermediate and confirmed. So, yeah. I don't know, Madam Chair, who can answer?
If I may, Attorney Santos, Madam Chair.
Yes, please.
Madam Chair, the HFPS, where the SBT Bautista is the chief, and the legal sector, where Attorney J.M. Tolentino is also the chief, is under the office of the OCO, Madam Chair, which I am assigned as acting OCO, Madam Chair. And I admit, Mr. Chair, it cannot be denied that there is delay in this. There are so many reasons, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, and we will not provide excuses. It's just that, Madam Chair, there were several circumstances that went beyond our control, and it so happened, and it's already late when the circular was published. And for this, Madam Chair, I take responsibility because the HFPS and legal sector are under the office of the OCO, Madam Chair. And for the retroactive effect, Madam Chair, we brought this again late, probably in May or June of this year, and the board did not want to cure our delay, the management, Mr. Chair, which is the operations, Mr. Chair. The board did not want to cure the delay done by the operations sector, Madam Chair. That's the honest answer to these questions, Madam Chair. And again, Madam Chair,
Attorney Santos, naintindihan mo yung punto ni Chair Helen na kung naglabas kayo ng circular on 2021, dapat ang effectivity sa 2021, bakit retroactive nyo ng November 2020 na hindi na covered yung probable? Yun lang, that's simple.
Chair,
kailangan pa ba sabihin na it's an honest mistake or whatever, na there is a delay? It's so simple. Ganun lang. Di ba, nagbalabas ka na circular ngayon, tapos ang effectivity is way back 2020 when you issued the circular in June 2021. Di sana ang effectivity is 2021. What will happen dun sa mga nabayaran na?
Madam Chair, may I request Attorney J.M. Tolentino to answer that question, Madam Chair.
Yes, Madam Chair, with your permission.
Yes, please proceed.
Yes, Madam Chair. As a general rule, laws and the appropriate rules and regulations implementing such laws have prospective application.
Attorney Tolentino, nabasa ko yan dun sa position paper ninyo. That's not an excuse. I don't accept that. I just sasabihin ninyo, not unless it is stipulated in the law. My goodness, it's common sense.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Representative Agabas.
Yes, if I may butt in with your respect to Attorney Tolentino, under our laws, the prospectivity will always take place if laws will not prejudice disadvantage sa private interest. In this case, kaya na yung mga patients natin. And it assumes the delegation because kawawa naman yung hospitals natin na hindi mababayaran. So what will prevent you from issuing another regulation in the future, exempting other cases from the coverage of Philhealth benefits kung ganyan ang gagawin natin? Is that a sound policy that is adopted by Philhealth? Attorney Tolentino?
We understand we understand the statement of the honorable representative, Mr. Chair. May I just give a background on how the retroactive application was arrived at? Basically, it's because the one of the bases for the issuance of the circular is a PBR dated November 2020. Fortunately, well, for one reason or another, this was not immediately circularized. But when it was time when the management was finally able to, well, considering the basis is a PBR dated 2020, we cannot but follow what was the original date mentioned in the PBR. If I may, well, the process for policy making in the Philhealth is first we go to the execom for approval, and when this is approved, then it would then be presented to the board, and then the board would then approve or disapprove or modify. At that time, this particular circular was issued. The only approved board resolution was still the 2020 November.
Attorney, if I may, Attorney, I think that the policy is not a sound policy by PhilHealth, and it weakens the standing of PhilHealth in the community. As far as we're concerned, in the eyes of the health providers like hospitals, breach of contract nyo yan. Kasi incurred obligation na yan. Dapat bayaran sila. May contract kayo sa mga hospitals. PhilHealth, di ba obligations nyo yan? You have to abide by what you have agreed with.
That is true. That is true, Madam Chair. If I may.
Sandali lang, Attorney Tolentino. I'll recognize the author, the proponent of this resolution.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank
apologies,
you,
apologies, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, sige lang. Okay lang
sorry.
siguro. Quick answer from Attorney Tolentino.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Finish po.
I'm done, Madam Chair. You can proceed.
Thank you very much, Representative Agabas. Attorney Tolentino, can you finish your statement?
Yes, Madam Chair, if I may. We recognize that fact, Madam Chair, but also the circumstances surrounding the issuances of PBR 2020 and this particular circular implementing such PBR is also the Philhealth's fiduciary responsibility to protect the funds. I understand that some of the circumstances that brought about the issuance of the said PBR and the circular was serious cases of upcasing of alleged COVID cases, when in truth and in fact these cases shouldn't have been classified as COVID cases. This led to fraudulent claims before the Philhealth that would amount to hundreds and thousands or even millions of pesos, Madam Chair. So,
Attorney Tolentino, naintindihan namin talaga yan.
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I understand, I fully understand your point. But the thing is, ang question dito, paano yung nabayaran na? Kasi hindi kasalanan ng ospital na delayed yung inyong pag-sign, pag-route. But the thing is, the hospitals are just following yung PC ninyo. 'Di ba? Which was issued June of 2021. Tapos sasabihin ninyo, ang layo naman, Diyos ko, November 2020. and June 2021, ang layo. So paano yung nabayaran na? That's the concern there. That's the question, big question there.
As Madam Chair, as this is a question of policy by the Philhealth, all the recommendations of this honorable committee, of course, will be presented to the Execom, and the appropriate measures to address any of these any of the concerns brought about by these issuances would be deliberated upon and presented to the board. We understand all these concerns, Madam Chair. We are just as concerned as this committee is in addressing. If we be given the chance and time to have this studied and presented anew, Madam Chair, and of course with due respect to our PCEO Dante Geran, and with his
Sige,
with his permission.
Sige, Attorney Tolentino, since you are asking permission from Attorney Giran, then may I ask Attorney Giran, what is your position here?
Thank you, ma'am, again for the question. This honorable committee has had heard a lot. There was what we call this admission by no less than our my assistant, number 2 to me, Attorney Eli, that there was some kind of delay that was made by the corporation, and actually this was already discussed between and among us, no? And we have the option to let the hospitals make their appeals, no, to the arbitration sector of our of the corporation, and
Attorney Giran,
Madam Chair.
with your respect, Chair Helen, ha, with your respect to you, magre-react lang ako doon sa sinabi ni Pangulo.
Nakakatawa. Nakakatawa si Pandit.
Attorney Giran, parang maghihintay pa kayo na lalapit sa arbitration, aabot pa tayo sa ganito when you can decide, no? Medyo nakakalungkot lang yung statement ninyo. Abutin pa tayo ng arbitration dito. Yes, Sis Helen, please proceed.
Po. I think, thank you, Madam Chair, no? Nagpapasalamat tayo dahil sa umagang ito ay nakita natin there seems to be a problem within Philhealth, no, on issuing mga circulars, resolutions, or yung system itself, no, kasi may admission na fault nila na tumagal ng 7 buwan at hindi din naman nila maipaliwanag. Although sinabi ni Attorney Tolentino na yung retroactivity they think or they thought is favorable to the interest of Philhealth. But what about the interest of the Filipino people? Okay? Particularly our partners, the hospitals. Kasi definitely, ito, nagamit ng ating mga pasyente, no? So na-confine and then in-apply kung anumang diagnosis and appropriate na benefit package. Lumabas ang pasyente, now the hospital will file the claims. Wala na yung pasyente, nagamit na niya yung PhilHealth benefit, ang magsasuffer is the hospital who incur yung mga expenses like medicines, supplies, doctors, lahat-lahat na ginamit. So, kung ang sinasabi ni President, Attorney Geran is hospital ang mag-a-appeal, bakit hospital ang mag-a-appeal wherein you can provide remedy through amending your circulars or resolutions? There is an admission of inefficiencies, no, doon within the PhilHealth. So siguro mali po na itulak sa ating mga healthcare providers yung burden na currently naman ay nakikita natin ano ang burden na dinadala nila just to accommodate our patients, whether COVID and non-COVID, no? Talagang hirap na sila. So, ang gusto ko lang, ayokong matapos itong resolution na ito na nakahang at gusto natin na solusyonan ng PhilHealth. I think, Madam Chair, we have guest na members of the board since sila ang policy makers din at nag-a-approve ng mga circulars and resolutions. Can we ask any member of the board, no? And then siguro, Madam Chair, if we can give time sa ating representative both ng Philippine Hospital Association and Philippine Private Hospital Association.
Chair Helen, sino sa board ang gusto mong sumagot? Yung policy maker ang gusto mo?
Yeah, members of the board. I don't know who's joining us today. Ma'am Sylvia, may we know, or Attorney Geran, if you can at least ask them, any member of the board to answer.
Okay, thank you, Madam Helen Tan again. And ano po, I have again to be candid with you. When I came to PhilHealth, the PhilHealth was bombarded with a lot of problems. The investigation of both houses would tell everybody that there was anomaly in the PhilHealth, corruption and the like. And when I took over, due to the in obeisance rather to the instruction of the President of the Republic of the Philippines, I have all those RBPs, regional officers, reshuffled all over the Philippines. And of course, there were officers of PhilHealth at the head office, at the central office, that were suspended. So basically, Madam Chairman, and of course, Madam Sun Sing, I was into a shift, a vote, where all my cross are new. Because yung nga, na-suspended yung mga tao dito. So I appointed mga bago po. But again, Madam Helen Tan, it's not a good excuse for myself. Man as I am, it's not a good excuse. Maya para nakakalalaki ako, para nakababae na rin. Sorry for that. Talaga may gap. So, ano po ma'am, ang gawin namin dito ma'am, I am not the highest person in the, I am management, I am the highest because I am the PCO, the President and Chief Executive Officer. But Madam Chair, somebody or a body is higher. There is somebody that is higher than I am. And so, coming from the insinuations that this honorable committee has made, I would refer this. There's no other way for me to do, but I would refer this to an authority that is higher than I am, which is the board. Thank you po.
At tawag nito, Attorney Giran, nandyan po ba si member of the board, Kabading? Meron po ba kayong member of the board? Because the proponent, Chair Helen, wants an answer or a reaction from the board. Andyan po ba si member of the board, Al Kabading?
Madam Chair.
Issue to eh.
Yes, Deputy Minority Leader Idol. Kaloy.
Can I make just a short interjection while waiting for a member of the board to...
With the kind indulgence of the proponent. Sis Helen, okay lang?
With the kind indulgence of Chair Helen.
Yes, Ma'am Galoy. Yes, go ahead.
Salamat po. Now, Madam Chair, ito lang siguro I pose this question. Given the circumstances now, as revealed in this committee hearing and the admission by the management of Philhealth that there was some, kahinaan, inefficiency in the delay of coming out with this kind of circular on June 15 of 2021, while the board resolution was issued in November of 2020. No, inamin naman nila na merong kahinaan at in fact, that's precisely why there was a need to refer this to the legal department of Philhealth, no? Kung ano magiging implication pag nag-issue ka ng circular very late na, no? So it will certainly impair some contractual obligations, no? May mga obligations talaga na ma-impair diyan at masagasaan. And it is what is happening now, no? And certainly yung mali ng agency ay dapat hindi ang magsasuffer, yung publiko, no? So given with these circumstances, and we know that the policy is dictated by the board, may inquire from the management whether or not they will recommend outright, no, not through process of arbitration, kasi nakita na ngayon na may mali ang management and the board, whether the management will recommend to the board, no, an amendment to this circular so that it will not unnecessarily impair contractual obligations of Philhealth with the hospitals, as well as the delivery of services to our kababayan, no, na nahihirapan pa rin itong pandemya ng COVID. So that's the only point that I want to raise, Madam Chair. Thank you, Chair Helen, for the opportunity.
Yes.
May I get a response from the management?
Yes. Thank you, Representative Caloy. Attorney Geran.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. And with respect also to my idol, Congressman Caloy Sarate, this representation, Madam Chair, is also a member of the board. I am also a member of the board, together with the rest. And hearing already a hint or clue or even a statement from this committee, which has an oversight power on matters like this, I would certainly, this representation representatively, respectively, would what we call this, recommend to the board, being the highest authority in the corporation, to have this matter be taken into consideration and for favorable action. Thank you po.
Chair Helen, si ASEC Jocelyn Niwane of the SWD, as alternate of the SEC board of Philhealth, can we recognize her? Chair Helen?
Yes, Madam Chair. Go ahead po.
Yes, ASEC Jocelyn.
Yes. Good morning to the honorable members of the committee. Yes, as an alternate, we have heard that for us as the board, we only do the PBR, and we have done that last November 2020. And I think we have also same assumption that the issuance of the circular was given earlier than June, but unfortunately, as we all have heard, it was only issued June of 2021, and we would agree that if the PC, our president, would send a recommendation to the board members so that we will be able to study this and look on how this will be resolved as we are listening to the discussions, and we agree with all the complaints that are being thrown to the Philhealth. So rest assured that once it arrives or reaches the hands of the board, this will be properly discussed and resolved accordingly. So we hope that this august body will understand, and we appeal for your kind consideration and understanding. Thank you very much for this opportunity to respond.
Thank you very much, ASEC Jocelyn.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now may I recognize Dr. Almora.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and good morning to the chairman of this committee and author of this House Resolution 1966 to
Doc, good morning po. We would like to hear from you, ano po ang impact nito sa inyo?
malaki po ang impact. This is not only about the hospitals, Madam Chair. It is about the Filipino people, and it is about the success of the universal healthcare and about elevating the quality and accessibility of healthcare to our people. If I may just do away with some of my presentation, Madam Chair, but I just would like to express our gratitude to Madam Congressman Helen Tan for coming out with this resolution. She basically has verbalized all the things we want to say, and we fully agree and concur with her presentation. There are minor modifications that we would like to present in her presentation, if only to enhance
Madam Chair.
accuracy.
Madam
But,
Chair.
Yes, please proceed.
Yeah, for a
Chair.
while lang. Dr. Almora, you can if you can present lang your position paper, not on the amendment of the resolution, hindi po needed yon. Yung position nyo lang po on the issue.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr.
So
Almora.
just to impress upon everyone the gravity of the problem, may I be allowed to share some of my slides?
Please proceed po.
Saan yung slide natin? But hindi ko ma-move. Cannot move it. Okay, so just to show the magnitude of the problem that is created by the delayed payment, which is from this data that I got from the presentation of Philhealth. The delayed claims would be here in the in-process claims. And at the bottom, you would see that there are 2,119,596 claims that is on process, which is only about, which is 11.88 of all the submitted claims. And amounting to 25.
Ano, nagbago na yung gameplay niya.
Oh, ano na?
Mas tumagal yung ako ay mas malaki yung kita.
Oh.
Amounting to 25.6 billion. And also, I would like to call your attention to the return to hospital claims, which is about 1,480,071, comprising 8.30% of the submitted claims, with a total amount of 46,623,063. And the denied claims, which is only 3.47% of the amount claimed, representing 619,956, with an amount of 13,800,958. If we are to get the total of this in-process claim, the RTH and the denied claims, that would amount to, let me proceed. Abe. Ayaw bumalaw. Okay. Okay. It would amount to something like 86,079,590,000 worth of claims that the hospital has not received, meaning this is the claims of the hospital, and as of June 30, 2021, and starting January 23, that is the amount that the hospitals has not received, equivalent to 86 billion. But of course, I understand that some of the claims are still in process, and these will be good claims. And also for the RTH, some would be good claims. But these are the claims that these are already spent for by the hospitals, and this is the reimbursement would be needed. So if we are to look at the impact of this amount of 86 billion and look at how it would be translated to the operations of the hospital, it would have been a big factor in helping the hospitals cope up with the past situation, especially during the second wave, and especially now that we are expecting that we are in the midst of the third wave and expecting it to grow even higher. So ventilators are needed in the increasing capability of hospital, and a ventilator would be about something like 3 million each. A vital signs monitor would be about 700,000. An extracorporeal membrane oxygenator would be something like 3 million. Oxygen generators, which is very much necessary, the cheapest would be 5 million if hospitals would install in their facilities the capability to generate oxygen for the whole hospital. The cheapest would be 5 million. And they have to expand their intensive care units. Expanding intensive unit would amount to something like 5 million to 10 million or even more. And also isolation rooms. These are structural repurposing of the hospitals would amount to something like 1 million and above for each isolation room. Of course, the supplies like PPEs, and there are still many other supplies amounting to 1,500 per set. And of course, the much needed increase in the salary of the nurses, especially, and the other personnel. If we are to give them 30,000 per month from the current 15,000 to 20,000 that they are receiving, this would be a big boost so that they will not be transferring to the other sectors of our economy where they get better returns or pay better salary, or even migrating abroad. Then we can solve the shortage that we are having now. So what I'm trying to present here, Madam Chair, is to show the magnitude of the problem, of how the money that the hospitals has failed to receive can be translated into improving the healthcare delivery of the whole country for the betterment of the people. I have some manifestations here, Madam Chair. We would like to signify our desire for simplification of policies on COVID-19 claims reimbursement by adopting the policy that a patient who was sick and admitted to hospital with symptoms suggestive or similar to COVID-19 shall be the basic requirement that will entitle the hospital to reimbursement of cost of services. We are now in the case rate, but if we have to go back to pay for service payment mechanism, that would be an acceptable option, if only to guarantee fairness of business transaction between Philhealth and the hospitals. Second, Madam Chair, is that the no copay or no balance billing policy should not be applied to private hospitals, except for those admitted in basic accommodation commensurate to the 10% of bed capacity as provided for in the Universal Healthcare Law. And also, arbitrary denial of payment resulting to losses to hospitals is not only unlawful, but also morally wrong. Constant and escalating loss to hospitals will ultimately lead to collapse and failure of healthcare delivery system, and ultimately to the detriment of the whole country. The ultimate loser are the people of the Philippines. If we are to look at the denied claims alone, Madam Chair, there is 13,800,958,000, comprising 619,956 claims. This would result to an average of 22,261 per claim. And if we are to look at the hospitals engaged in accommodating COVID cases, the 13,800,958,485 would translate to something like 13,800,958 per hospital that was not paid by, that was denied to the hospital. And if we have to go back to my earlier presentation, that would be translated to improvement of the hospitals, which ultimately will lead to the improvement of the healthcare delivery of our country, with the hope that ultimately we can develop more world-class hospitals so that we will be comparable to the other countries. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Dr. Almora. Before I will recognize the Executive Vice President of Private Hospital Association, Dr. Jerry Gonzalez, may I acknowledge the presence of the following members who are present today: Representative Joet Garcia, Representative Jerry Boy Espina Jr., Representative John Ray Tiangco, Representative Adrian Ebcas, and of course, Representative Tyron Agabas, Representative Paul Ruiz Daza, Representative Ruth Mariano Hernandez, Representative Robert Ace Barbers, Representative Seriaco June Gato, Representative Alan Ecleo, Representative Presley De Jesus, and Representative Samantha Vargas Alfonso. I would like also to acknowledge the presence of, in behalf of Secretary Duque, who is the chairman of the board of directors of the Philhealth. We are honored that USEC Lilibet David is on board. So now may I call on Dr. Jerry Gonzalez for the impact po.
Madam Chairman and Chairperson, and to the honorable members of the Congress, to the dignitaries of DOH and PHIC, and to the other attendees, good morning. The hospital organizations, both PHAPI and PHA, have been having several meetings with PHIC, including our town issues regarding PHIC reimbursements. Basically, what has been presented by Dr. Almora, we have the same data and same problem because of this regular meeting. So going back to the resolution presented today, the private hospitals are in limbo and do not know how to recover its expenses on these cases. Talaga pong hirap ang hospital. It is basically right now a hand-to-mouth existence. We even weekly, we even look at our expenses, our income, if we can pay salaries of our healthcare workers. And it is with great hope that this meeting like this will resolve these issues and help the private hospitals. That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc. Before we proceed, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the members of the board. Nandito din pala sila. From DBM, we have Director Ryan Lita of Legal Service. And from DOH, we have here Mr. Eduardo Anthony Marino III.
DOF po, Madam Chair.
Yes, DOF. We have here. Okay. Eduardo Anthony. I cannot see your full name, sir. I'm sorry. So, Chair Helen.
Yes, Madam Chair. Actually, I have a lot of questions and issues na I want to raise specifically on RTH and the denied cases, the DPCM, the CIUs. But just to give way to our members to raise their questions, siguro po we can proceed na with our members who are listed in the chat group.
So at this point, I'd like to turn over back to Chairwoman Helen Tan.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, my best friend, for helping me on this hearing. So the next member to ask question, of course, is Representative Ging Swansing. You have the floor, Kong Ging.
Madam Chair, in the interest of time, no, kasi para just to give chance to others, kasi nakasingit-singit ako ng konti. Isa na lang ang tanong ko, no? This is for Attorney Giran, Attorney Santos, or Dr. Bautista. Na-mention po ninyo na yung nag-trigger ko po for the change in your PC, no, is parang hearing yata sa Kongreso at saka hearing sa Senado. So, kailan po kaya nangyari yon? Parang, at anong komite? Kasi hindi po ako naka-attend dun sa meeting na yon. Ano po yung meeting na yon? Which committee and when was the meeting held?
Attorney Giran? Definitely, it's not in the Committee on Health. I can assure you that it's not within my committee.
O kasi kung sa committee mo, invited ako eh.
Yeah. Attorney Garan or anyone, I think it's Vice President Santos who mentioned that earlier.
Madam Chair, if I may, I am requesting SVP Dr. Clem Bautista to answer the question, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Mr. Glenn Bautista or Attorney Glenn Bautista?
It's Dr. Clem Bautista po.
Okay, Dr. Clem. Dr. Clem, ikaw pala yan.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Apo. We've been meeting po sa consulta before.
Yes.
Yun pong sinasabi nyo is an output of the Public Accountability Committee. Ito po yung, if you remember last year, there were 2 hearings po being conducted for Philhealth, one in the lower house and one in the Senate. And we were provided po with directives from the lower house during the legislative inquiries. And as I've mentioned, one of the recommendation is to withdraw and remove the policy on suspected and probable COVID cases from the COVID-19 benefit packages from the Public Accountability Committee po.
Ano po yung hearing na yon? What is that hearing for? Na natanggalin yung probable cases? What is the topic about? Bakit natanggal? Tapos sila po ba ang nagsabi na i-retroactive ninyo?
Hindi po retroactive. It's just that we should consider withdrawing or removing the policy on paying suspected and probable cases from COVID-19 benefit packages. That's the directive po.
Oo. So ano po yung, what is the topic? What is the agenda at hand na nag-trigger po dun sa sinabi nila na tanggalin ninyo yung probable cases para po maintindihan namin at maintindihan din po ng lahat?
It was General Philhealth Inquiry po nakalagay dito eh. The House Committee on Public Accounts and Committee on Governance in relation to Philhealth Inquiry done in aid of legislation, and that we received this on September 21, 2020.
Does it have something to do with the IRM, Doc
Yes.
Clem? I think that's when it was raised, Kongging, during that hearing on the controversy of IRM. Siguro na pag-usapan nila yung probable and or I don't know the suspect cases, but they use the probable case.
So, Chair Helen, because of that, they decided to change, no, to change the policy. Pero ang sa akin kasi dito, before you come out with a policy, dapat pinag-aaralan ng maayos 'yan kasi hindi lang kasi sa hospitals talaga ang effect ng pag-change ng policy na to, kundi mismo dun sa mga tao na parang kinover na dun sa unang policy tapos biglang nag-change, di ba? It does not give a good reflection to an agency of change, keeping on changing. And then yung problema nga natin dito sa retroactive na to, na hindi naman dapat na ang effectivity ay 6 months or even 7 months before, no, na parang ang pagbabago ay dapat dun sa panahon na ilalabas yung policy. So thank you, Madam Chair. Marami pa sana ako pero ang daming sa listahan, kaya thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Kongging. Next to ask question is Representative Stella Kimbo. Do we have Kong Stella? You have the floor.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Please proceed.
Yes, Madam Chair. Yes, thank you. Siguro just follow up on Kong Ging's line of questions. Bakit ba tayo may separate treatment to begin with for the probable cases? Hindi po ba upon admission, hindi ba the standard operating procedure is to test a patient for COVID? And it's only when ma-determine mo kung positive or negative, saka ka palang ma-admit. And at the same time, hindi po ba ang bayad ng Philhealth is upon discharge? And if the average length of stay, halimbawa in the hospital is let's say 3 to 4 days, hindi ba by the time of discharge, dapat wala na tayong probable cases. Dapat at the point of discharge, dapat lumabas na ang RT-PCR test result, in which case, there's no such thing as a probable COVID patient. It's either you're positive or negative at the point of discharge. So yun ang tanong ko, bakit ba merong separate treatment for a probable case?
Anyone from Philhealth, and siguro in relation to that kay Kong Stella, meron din sila ngayon na tinatawag na intermediate package, no? So I think it's the same with probable. Binago lang nila yung pangalan.
Correct. I think they just want to reduce the case rates because ang laki ng problema dati, Chair Helen, di ba? Kasi yung probable case can get as much as 786,000 pesos. Can you imagine? At the point of discharge, hindi pa alam kung ikaw ay positive or negative. Worse, pwedeng 786 ang binayad ng Philhealth when in fact, pwedeng 3 days after discharge, malaman na negative pala. That's actually a possibility, hindi po ba? That's why, again, babalik ako dun sa basic policy question. Is there a need to have a separate treatment for probable cases, especially today na within 5 hours, pwede mo nang makuha ang RT-PCR result?
Anyone from Philhealth?
Good morning. This is Dr. Bautista again. Good morning to Congressman Stella.
Hi, Clem.
Actually, when this was started, the circular, this was based on the guidelines, no? And we know that this is a novel disease. such that at that time, yung RT-PCR was very not available nationwide or very limited po yung availability nila, such that, and then the clinicians would see patients who are actually manifesting as a COVID case. And however, clinically, they manifest as COVID case. However, due to several reasons like the test is not conclusive, or the test cannot be done or not conducted in an accredited laboratory, and it could not be performed. The providers are ano ba, parang wala na silang, they are pushed to managing the patients to save the life of the patient as a COVID case. And given that one of the mandates of Philhealth is to provide financial risk protection to the members, then anything that we provide, I mean, or services that's been provided should be financed or by Philhealth. So that's why we initially have a probable case package, because that was the time that really the RT-PCR or the confirmatory tests are not yet widely available. And actually, it's one of the reasons that triggered us to come up with intermediate package and remove the payment or reduce the payment for the probable cases. Apart from that, we have found that there were abuses into hospitals claiming probable cases, and with our fiduciary responsibility, we take it a point to remove or modify the probable cases. But admittedly, during the initial stage of the pandemic, we are all grappling how to manage these cases, and that in that such that the providers would really want to save the lives of the patient. They would treat these patients as a case of COVID, even if there's no RT-PCR positive at that time. However, clinically they show signs and symptoms consistent with COVID-19 pneumonia.
Okay.
All right, so mukhang clinically, Madam Chair, there's a basis naman for changing the policy. Kasi nga ibang-iba na ngayon ang situation, mas mabilis na ang test results. But, and as you pointed out, mukhang na-abuse. Pwede bang natin malaman kung ilan ba ang total COVID claims last year, maybe from January to November 2020, and ilan doon ang probable cases? In short, Doc Lem, ilang porsyento ng COVID claims last year ang probable?
Let us check lang our records for a while.
Siguro, I guess the question that I want to raise is, ano naging basis niyo for saying na tila nagkaroon ng maraming abuse dahil merong gantong klaseng probable case? And anyway, just for context, no, just to show you kung gaano kalaki ang disparity ng intermediate case rate sa probable case rate. For moderate, post-circular, it's 18,000. But pre-circular, it was 143,267. For the severe case, post-circular, 38,000 versus pre-circular, 333,579. And for critical case, post-circular, 38,000 versus pre-circular, 786. So, ang laki talaga ng disparity. So, gusto ko lang malaman, no, nung hindi pa natin binabago ang ating patakaran, ano kaya ang nalugi ng PhilHealth dahil sa abuse?
Do you have data available right now, Dr. Clem?
This is a data as of April 25, 2021. For a total, in that period, we received 68,036 claims for inpatient cases. And the probable cases of this 68,036 are 22,428.
So sorry, again, 68,000 claims, and then of which 22,000 are probable. Tama? And doon sa probable na 22,000, can you give me a breakdown? Ilan po doon ang critical na ibig sabihin na bayaran ng 786,000 per case?
Also, we want to know siguro ilan yung na-deny nila na cases, no? Yung critical,
Yes,
denied
yes,
cases,
Chair.
and the return to hospital.
Siguro habang hinahanap ninyo yung datos, pwede bang malaman ano naman ang naging basis ninyo for the intermediate case rates? Kasi ang laki ng disparity. Diba? The disparity for critical is 786,000 versus 38,000. Ano na ngayon ang naging basis for the intermediate case rates?
For the intermediate, we use the usual all case rates for pneumonia, and we added cost of PPEs and additional laboratories.
So in other words, you treat them as regular pneumonia cases. And pero what happens, Doc Lem, kung nalaman ninyo na COVID positive pala ang probable, they get bumped up to as
Yes.
much as 786,000. Tama po ba yun?
Yes, yes, because if they are confirmed case, they can avail of the COVID packages as based on 009 circular. Only the probable case
So,
shall be paid with the intermediate package.
oo, pero so how does that work? Kasi nga again, you pay the hospitals upon discharge. So kung ikaw ay binayaran ng intermediate case rate, ibig sabihin nun, upon discharge, hindi pa klaro kung positive ka or negative. Trinato ka lang as pneumonia.
Yes.
So there's
the diagnosis is a probable case and not a confirmed case of.
And as far as you are concerned, there is no post audit. Hindi nyo na dinedetermine after discharge kung yan ba ay positive or negative. Basta trinato nyo lang siya as a pneumonia patient. Tama?
For the confirmed case, the claim should have an attached RT-PCR result, which should be positive.
Hindi nga po eh, kasi ma'am, di ba, yung bayad nga is upon discharge, di ba? Sinusubtract yung case rate upon discharge. So upon discharge, kung ang natanggap mo ay intermediate case, ang ibig sabihin nun, there was no determination upon discharge kung ikaw ay positive or negative for COVID. Tama po?
Yes, there is a requirement to attach the RT-PCR, and for this case.
Oo nga, but I mean, the question is, there is no determination upon discharge kung positive or negative na ang isang intermediate case.
There is, and pinapa-attach po namin yung result ng RT-PCR.
Okay, in short, if there is, bakit pa may need for an intermediate case? Diba? Kasi kung alam mo naman pala na negative siya, nandun na lang siya sa, di ba maraming case rates for pneumonia depending on the kind of pneumonia?
Yeah. I think it's because of the need for increase in the package rate of the compared to ACR due to the use of the PPEs and additional drugs for these cases. Because they were actually treated then naman as a case of COVID.
Okay, so what you're saying lang, correct me if I'm wrong, Doc Lem, hindi naman fair na itrato na normal pneumonia patients lang sila kasi kailangan ng dagdag, which is yung PPE, costs, etc. Because kahit na in the end, negative siya, nag-incur kayo ng cost because they were treated as if COVID positive sila during the stay. Tama? Okay. So in short, may wisdom naman. May wisdom ng pagpalit talaga ng policy. Okay. Now, tama?
Yes, yes.
Now moving, okay. And mukha naman may consensus. May consensus naman na dapat prospective ang application. Kasi nga, nahuli ang paglabas ninyo ng circular. So I have two questions. The first question is, bakit nahuli? Why did it take you 7 months to issue that circular? And my second question is, if we change from retrospective application, which is actually the correct policy, arguably, to prospective application because na-delay kayo, ano yung impact nun sa pondo nyo? Di ba kasi ang ibig sabihin nun, if you issued the circular on time, yung dapat na bayaran nyo lang na 38,000, maaring ang binayad ninyo 786. Di ba? Yun ang mawawala sa pondo nyo eh. So, I'm sure at this point in time, alam nyo na kung ilan yung claims na maapektuhan ng changing ng application from retrospective to prospective. So magkano yun? Magkano yung dagdag na claim na kailangan yung bayaran by changing application from retrospective to prospective?
From the data that we got on April, as I mentioned, April 21, it's about
No, Clem, we're talking about the November 20 to the June 2021. Kasi yun yung madadamay nung pag-change ng application, di ba?
Constella, kindly wrap up.
Sige, yun na lang po, Madam Chair. Again, ako I agree naman po no, na dapat prospective yung application. Gusto ko lang malaman ano yung magiging impact on the fund. And kasi hindi naman pwedeng nagkamali ang ating management, may kahinaan sa pag-implement, ganun-ganun na lang. Gusto natin malaman ano ang impact niyan sa pondo. Kasi as we all know, lahat naman tayo ay nagko-contribute sa Philhealth. Kumbaga, pera yan ng taong bayan. So we'd like to know, ano yung cost nitong mistake in management decision? So kung pwede sanang sagutin ni Dr. Heran?
President Geran?
Ay, attorney pala, sorry.
Or anyone from Finance Department ng Philhealth? Can anybody from Philhealth answer kung Kimbo's question?
Kukunin nyo lang po yung number of claims after November 20 up to June 2021. I-apply nyo lang ang lumang case rate at i-apply nyo ang bagong case rate. You take the difference. Yun lang po ang gagawin ninyo. Yun yung impact sa fund. So kung hindi nyo ako masagot ngayon, in the interest of time, I will yield to the next. Paki-compute po. Kasi wala po sa amin ang datos. We would like to know. And for me, that is the cost of this mistake in management decision.
Okay.
Salamat po, Madam Chair.
Philhealth, kindly provide the committee your answer to the question, or before we adjourn siguro, if you have that figure, please provide us. Next to ask question is Pwede siguro si Kong Stella mag-apply na lang na consultant ng PhilHealth. Pero 1 peso consultant, Kong Stella, para sa bayan at mamamayan. Pwede?
Sige po.
1 peso consultant, ha? Okay.
Oo, zero pa nga.
Next to ask question is, who's on the list? Oh, okay. Representative Mickey Violago. You have the floor, Kong Mickey.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and good morning to everyone. I have the same question with Kong Stella tungkol sa probable at saka dun sa bakit nagkaroon ng dalawang case ng COVID. Ganun na lang po, Madam Chair. Ang tanungin ko na lang po yung PhilHealth. Kasi din po ako dito dun sa mga benefits package na mga ginawa nila tungkol sa moderate, severe, at saka sa critical. Madam Chair, ang tanong ko na lang po sa PhilHealth, para hindi sana masyadong maraming mga packages, bakit hindi na lang gawin nating percentage? Kunwari, yung hospital bill ko umabot ng 500,000. Ilang percentage na lang ang dapat sagutin ng PhilHealth? Kasi masyado pong maraming package na mga na rate. Tulad nga po ng sabi ni Kong Stella, paano natin ma-determine to kung probable to o severe kung wala pa yung result? Thank you, Madam Chair.
PhilHealth? Anyone from PhilHealth?
If I may, as to the recommendation of setting a percentage, we will just study po that possibility of having such payment mechanism. But currently, what we implement is a case-based payment. Yun lang po. And
Kong Mickey, are you satisfied with the answer?
Sana nga po mapag-aralan para kahit ano yung case nung isang card holder, alam na lang niya na kung 15% nung bill ko sasagutin ng PhilHealth. Para at least meron leeway na paghandaan nung pasyente. Kasi ang tanong po dito, Madam Chair, paano naka-arise ng 786,384 ang PhilHealth para sa critical patient? Ano naging base nila para ito lang ang ibigay? Anong computation po na ginawa nila para dito sa mga packages na ito? Saan nila kinuha yung computation? Bakit ganito ang ibibigay? Dahil ano ho ba ito? Dahil dapat kung percentage nga ito, malinaw po, di po ba? Pero kasi kung ganito yung mga packages na binigay nila, saan nila nakuha yung numero? Paano nila na-compute ito? Madam Chair.
Yes, anyone from PhilHealth?
Madam Chair, this is Dr. Bautista. We set the packages based on costing activities, and this is also through the help of by conducting surveys on the current prices and average prices of the services, and then these are bundled together as a service. That's what we come up with a case-based payment. Dun po sa suggestion about the percentage of copay or what they call copay po, kung ilan na lang po ba yung babayaran ng hospital. That's ng patient. That's the vision po ng PhilHealth, or that's the plan of the PhilHealth, is to come up or go into a more comprehensive designing of a case-based payment that is through a DRG, wherein we have to accurately estimate po the amount of the medical services to be provided for a certain case and such that we will be dictating or identifying the amount of the co-payment the patient should be paying for. So medyo i-fix na po namin yung co-payment so that when this payment mechanism is already in place, medyo sigurado na po yung members kung ano po yung babayaran niya. Kasi i-fix na po natin yung co-payment.
Okay, thank you. Kong Mickey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kasi, Madam Chair, yun din po eh. Kasi kung kunwari po, critical lang ang naging kaso ko, and then undeductible from Philhealth is 786,000. So more or less, alam na nila kung ilan dapat yung percentage na tinanggal nila from the total hospital bills. Sana po mapag-aralan para maging mas maayos, para kahit probable siya o severe siya o symptomatic siya, basta ginamit niya yung kanyang Philhealth card, alam niya 20%, 30% of my hospital bill is deducted ng Philhealth. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, and good morning po.
Thank you, Kong Mickey Villago. We now have Representative Marilu Arroyo. Kong Marilu, our
Good
Vice
morning, Madam Chair, and to all
Morning.
Philhealth.
Thank you for patiently waiting, Tita.
Yeah, you're very welcome. One of the things that I would like to ask, because I have several questions, is all claims shall be filed by the accredited health provider. Am I right? I think that's correct, no?
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I would like to know if the patient signs as a co-signatory to these claims to ensure the integrity of the documents.
Philhealth?
Yes.
Doc Clem?
Yes, ma'am. The patients will sign especially the statement of account.
All right. Thank you for clarifying that. My other questions are, data sharing is being done between the DOH and Philhealth. Am I right? That's what you mentioned earlier. That's what Philhealth mentioned earlier. Madam Chair, may I recommend the Department of Information, Communications and Technology, or DITC, be included as supporting agency to enhance the efficiency and the integrity of the IT component and to ensure correct and proper processing programming systems in and developing a comprehensive benefit registry of national magnitude, Madam Chair. May I recommend this, please? Because I don't know if the Philhealth has department that does that, or if the hospitals themselves do that. I know they have, what do you call this? They have laptops and computers, but I don't know if they have IT experts. Another question I have, since there is necessary medical services for cases that develop with impending severe illness, which includes but not limited to the following: acute respiratory distress syndrome, septic shock, requiring invasive ventilation. Madam Chair, since the virus not only attacks the lungs, but also the heart and liver, may I know if they are covered by these benefit packages, please? Philhealth? Madam Chair?
Yes, anyone from Philhealth? Doc Clem, did you get the question?
Yes, ma'am. Those treatment for ARDS are inclusive or in the package, and these were taken into account when we developed the package.
So in other words, they're paid for. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, ma'am. That's included. That's covered.
Thank you. Another thing that bothers me is this. All third-party donations shall not be charged to the patient because I have donated many things to my district hospital, such as PPEs, disinfectants, and alcohol. So if this is the case, why are hospitals allowed to charge Philhealth? And why does Philhealth pay for it? I mean, I cannot understand. I'm sure many of us have donated many things to the hospitals because we have had requests from our district hospitals. So in the beginning, it was so hard that we, being congressmen, we agreed to donate to our hospitals. I myself have donated. So, and then I find out that the patients are charged. Is this right? How can you say that I've donated 2,000 PPEs, 100 gallons of alcohol, and X amount of disinfectants? And then you charge the patient for this.
Philhealth.
As for, Madam Chair, if I may, Dr. Bautista po. Per policy of Philhealth, we should not be paying this donated commodities. No? That's why po, we actually get the list from the DOH as to which hospitals get donations. Say for example, PPEs and testing kits. And if you note po, dun sa aming testing packages, we have 3 packages po doon, such that we give lower rates for those with donated testing kits. And if everything is also, even if the machine is donated, the rate for this is lower compared to the ones that are fully funded by the provider. So, yun nga po, maybe we need your help in this aspect, such that if you could provide Philhealth the information, who among the members of the representatives or House of the Representatives are providing PPEs and other commodities to the hospital, so that we will be able to check on this in the claims.
Doc Clem, I hope you don't mind. When COVID hit us, it's a pandemic, right? So we were all naguluhan lahat tayo. How can you tell me now that I have to, you mean to say, are you trying to tell me that I have to tell Philhealth, I have to inform you that I've donated, let's say, 10,000 PPEs, X amount of gallons of alcohol, and X amount of gallons of disinfectant? Because I will look through all my records, because I have been donating and I'm still donating to my district hospitals. And yet I hear that patients are charged. So why? I don't see the logic here. I'm sorry.
We agree with you, Madam. Actually, there's a need for some form of honesty on the part of the hospital, such that if they really receive donated items, they should not charge this to Philhealth. And this is something that we cannot control. However, the patients could help us inform or make complaint to Philhealth if they were actually provided and charged for donated items.
Doc Clem, I think that's too much already to ask the patient if they received the donation or not. The directors of the hospitals will know, but they're also so busy. You know how many isolation tents we have in my district alone that I have had to donate? Well, aside from that, I'm sure many of us here, all the congressmen, have had to donate to their district hospitals. Another question I have for Philhealth. Yes, last question.
Yes po.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc Helen. Thank you very much, Chair Helen. PhilHealth supposedly pays the doctors 150,000. So why do doctors of patients still charge patients on their side? I'm hearing that patients are being charged by their doctors. Yet PhilHealth is supposed to pay 150,000 for the doctors. Can I ask PhilHealth why?
Doc Clem.
Again, Madam, this is one of the contentious issues here. The policy of PhilHealth states that there should be no co-payment except for amenities. So therefore, dapat po talaga walang na-charge doon sa pasyente. And we can only be aware of that if the patient will actually report, or also we have some monitoring activities to check on this. And if we find that facilities are violating this, we will file the necessary charges.
Doc Clem, may I ask you, do you really pay the doctors? Does PhilHealth really pay the doctors?
The policy for
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The
Go ahead.
policy for the COVID-19 is that we don't differentiate between the hospital charges and the PF, such that we give all the payment or reimbursement to the hospital, and it's up to the hospital to pay the doctors.
In other words, you do not really pay the doctors.
Not directly, ma'am. Yes.
All right, thank you. And isn't it PhilHealth's duty to validate this also? Because, you know, in my district, people are poor. So I have 2 district hospitals. I really take care of health because it's so important. I'm a person with disability to start with. So I understand the importance of health in hospitals. And I'm grateful that our chairperson is a doctor, Dr. Helen Tan. I'm grateful that she has given us this opportunity to ask you these questions so that you can clarify us. You can clarify to all the congressmen, because, you know, we don't want to think, I personally don't want to think ill of PhilHealth. But there's a lot of talk going around, and I'd rather keep quiet because my daughter is giving me a dirty look already.
Thank you,
I will
Tita.
tell the truth. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Chair Helen. Thank you for giving me the time to talk
Yes
so
po.
much. Thank you, ma'am.
Next to ask question is Representative Dr. Dalia Loyola.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Thank you very much, Chair. Alam ko kulang na tayo sa oras, pero mabilis lang to. Nandito yung representative ng Philippine Hospital Association at PhilHealth. Real-time experience lang ang gusto kong linawin. Sa simplification ng pagbibigay ng claims at pag-reimburse ng ating mga pasyente. Kasi dito sa aming lugar, Madam Chair, alam naman natin na loaded na ang mga hospital, and we are grateful na yung mga tertiary hospital is doing their best na magdagdag. So meron kaming mga COVID critical care sa ating emergency room. Ang problema lang, pagka ba PhilHealth na ipasok na sa COVID critical care ang pasyente, syempre nasa baba pa yan, na-intubate ang pasyente, antigen test is positive, na swab test, pero Thursday na admit, it so happen na Saturday lumabas ang swab test. Madam Chair, na ipanhek sa ICU kasi may availability ng kwarto Friday ng gabi. Nung Thursday, pinapirma na ang mga relatives na ibibili ng remdesivir and the likes. And then, it so happen na nag-expire ang pasyente kasi severe COVID to ng Saturday. Then all of a sudden, hindi bibigyan at ayaw pumayag ang PhilHealth dahil wala pa daw 24 hours kasi nung pinasabi ng PhilHealth sa kanila, ang admission ay nung maipanhek sa regular na kwarto. Napaka-unfair naman ata nito, Madam Chair, to think na tinanggap yan ng ospital, nasa critical COVID ER, gina-justify na ng ospital, ayaw pa rin ng PhilHealth. Mabuti na lamang yung pasyente is the husband ng isa naming district supervisor told us. So nagtanong kami. Pero marami na daw incidents na ganyan na nangyayari na dinedenied ng Philhealth ng reimbursement at saka ng benepisyo dahil wala pang 24 hours kasi nga nanatili sa ER sa baba. So nandito yung Philippine Hospital Association. Ayoko na itong pagtagalin, Madam Chair. Simple lang to na dapat pag-usapan kasi ang naaapektahan dito ay ang kaawa-awa nating mga kababayan. Isipin mo ngayon, we have to write back PhilHealth justification. The hospital will justify while in fact, nung time na inaayos natin ang bill, sinabi na ito'y nasa critical care sa ER, intubated, wala nga lang RT-PCR pa pero dala yung antigen, COVID case, kinuna ng ospital, and it was even the hospital who took the swab test. Lumabas ang swab test ng Saturday, minalas kami, namatay nung hapon. Ito na, wala daw 24 hours kasi nung ma-admit sa ICU Friday ng gabi, namatay ng Sabado ng hapon. Simple lang to, Madam Chair. Alam ko, kaya-kaya mo na tutugunan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Philhealth, can you respond to that question of Kong Dalia? So tama ba yung sinabi niya na ang pasyente kapag nasa emergency room at wala pang admitting ay hindi na i-charge? O kung less than 24 hours namatay, hindi nagamit ang PhilHealth? Can you clarify that? Anyone from PhilHealth?
This is we recently, ma'am, issued an advisory reiterating that for admitted patients staying in the emergency room, pending the availability of rooms in the hospitals.
So counted siya na day 1?
Yes po, they will be paid. Then parang temporary po nag-stay sila sa ER and eventually admitted. They will be paid, and if found to be confirmed case of COVID, then as a case of COVID po.
Anong pwedeng gawin doon sa case na na-mention ni Kong Dalia na hindi na-claim kasi yung ICU admission is less than 24 hours but actually stayed several days in the emergency room? Can the hospital amend that?
Opo, ipa-adjust na lang po ng pasyente. The claim has been filed already. The patient can file or a request for an adjustment sa PhilHealth.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you very much for the clarification. If that is the case, dapat naman ng PhilHealth, sinasabi na yung ganyang kanilang patakaran at nang hindi nahihirapan ng ating mga kababayan. Kasi even the hospital, nakikipagtalo na sa PhilHealth, ayaw. Write a letter of justification, dadalhin sa legal. Ay hirap na nga tayo sa COVID eh. Ang sinasabi ko nga yan, yung pagbababa ng mga circular na yan, pagbababa ng advisory na yan, Madam Chair, dapat timely tayo. Kailangan lagi na tayong may sense of urgency. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you very much, PhilHealth. At yung Philippine Hospital Association, I am one with you sa manifestation nyo kanina. Case ng reimbursement ng COVID cases. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you, Kong Dalia.
Madam Chair, may I interject?
Yes, Kong Ging. I will just add some comments doon kay Kong Dalia, Kong Ging. Sa PhilHealth, anong particular circular ninyo na inilabas that from the emergency room, they can charge na sa PhilHealth? Counted na siya as day 1. Do you have particular policy?
Yes, ma'am. It's a PC 35 series 2013. It's an old policy po. Yes, actually these are certified by the all 8 states. And currently, ito rin po naman ay in effect pa.
So 2013 pa yung policy niyan. Baka kailangang i-reiterate, although I will read that circular, baka kailangang i-reiterate sa ating mga regional vice presidents if they are aware.
Reiterated to them, and actually for the information of the public, we issued an advisory on this.
Okay, kasi I think yung kinukwento ni Rep Dalia was given a resuscitation package only, no? But kung susundin talaga yung kwento niya, nag-incur siya ng malaking expenses from the family kasi from the emergency room, kung intubated na siya, nagbibigay ng all necessary interventions, definitely kawawa yung pasyente, no? Kasi they have to pay it out of pocket. So siya ang nag-shoulder noong payment or expenses for that situation. So kindly reiterate that policy, President Attorney Dante Garan. Ano po? Kongging, go ahead.
Just a follow through dun sa concern ni Representative Loyola. Ang problema kasi dyan is bakit nangyayari ito kung very clear sa central office ng Philhealth yung ganun na patakaran, no? Siguro, Madam Chair, may I suggest ibaba nila yung kung ano man yung policy, no, na pwede sa kanila pala, ibaba nila dun sa mga assigned nila dun sa different hospitals, no, na whatever policies, kasi parang sa kanila ang dali-dali lang sabihin na pwedeng bayaran yun, pero pagdating naman dun sa staff ng PhilHealth sa hospital, iba naman ang ginagawa. Just a suggestion, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Kongging. Please take note on the suggestion of our Representative Ging Swansing, PhilHealth. Next to ask question is Representative Franz Castro.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat o magandang tanghali sa ating lahat. Madam Chair, mahalaga kasi yung tanong na so bakit, kasi parang hindi pa nasasagot ito yung tungkol sa pagiging retroactive nung kanilang circular. So hindi pa masyado itong nilinaw po yung main na tanong natin dun sa resolution. Bakit ito nagbago at nag-trigger sa napakalaking pagbabago ng mga payments at saka yung pagtingin doon sa mga probable cases at saka doon sa may mga confirmed cases na wherein at the day one pa lang ay talagang gumagastos na o nagkakaroon na ng paggastos yung mga pasyente at kaugnay ng hospitalization. Pwede po bang malaman, Madam Chair, yung categorical answer nila dito? So bakit bakit nag-trigger itong ganitong mga pangyayari po sa paglalabas nila ng circular?
Anyone from PhilHealth? Although kanina Kong Franz na mention and actually inadmit nila na mayroong pagkukulang doon sa kanilang
may chance ba na baguhin kaya ito, Madam Chair? May chance po kaya na makover pa rin yung mga sinasabi? At siyempre yung mga fraudulent claims, nag-file na ba sila ng kaso kaugnay dito sa mga sinasabi nilang mga fraudulent claims? So yun po yung mga kasunod na.
Anyone from PhilHealth?
Tony Santos, Madam Chair, may I be recognized, Madam Chair?
Yes po.
Madam Chair, we commit to bring this matter, Madam Chair, as was stated a while ago by our beloved PCO, Dante Garan, we'll bring this matter back to the board, Madam Chair, to reconsider and for purposes of modifying the policy, Madam Chair. And with respect, Madam Chair, to the cases, we are continuously monitoring the hospitals, Madam Chair, with respect to abuse in our policies, Madam Chair. That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
So, Madam Chair, so tama yun, they should monitor, pero paano kaya nila magagawa ito patient by patient doon sa mga hospital? Meron po ba tayong tao na magbabantay, magmonitor kung ano yung mga ibibigay na mga meds ba, medicine, services doon sa mga patients natin? Kasi hindi, Madam Chair, hindi kasi sapat yung napapapirma yung ating mga patient dun sa kung anong med ibibigay, kung anong services ibibigay, kung anong lab na ibibigay. Ang mahalaga dito ay yung appropriate ba doon sa pasyente yung mga ibibigay. So meron ba tayong ano, paano ba yung sa konkreto, Madam Chair, ano ba yung naiisip ng PhilHealth para maiwasan itong abuses na to? Kasi ako na-realize ko meron talagang mga ganyan. Ako may mga pasyente rin po akong nalaman na may mga ganyan mga abuses din sa mga hospitals. So paano po yung monitoring in concrete terms?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Attorney Tolentino.
Yes, with the permission of our PCEO, the legal sector of the Philhealth has our fact-finding and investigation and enforcement division that works together with our pro-legal for the investigation of probable abuses and commission of fraud sa ating National Health Insurance Program. So we coordinate with our regions and our hospitals kasi we conduct our regular domiciliary visits, and of course with may mga nagko-complaint din po sa amin na mga pasyente rin. Actually our PCEO called upon the public also to report yung mga ganyang mga kaso, at pag nakatanggap po kami ng mga ganyang klaseng reports, iniimbestigahan po namin talaga. In fact, during the time of our PCEO, Dante Geran, from September 2020 to July, end of July, we had already filed a total of 6,326 cases. Mga inimbestigahan ho ito na ang lumabas sa investigation report may probable cause to find them, to hold them liable. So magkakaroon ho ito ng kaukulang preliminary investigation. So talaga pong seryoso yung mga ganyang kaso, at hindi po namin pababayaan yan, dahil ayun ho ang mandato namin, ang mandato ni Presidente kay PCEO, at ayun po ang aming isinasakatuparan.
Attorney Tolentino, are you the SVP for legal?
Yes, Madam Chair, I am.
Please proceed, Franz.
Madam Chair, on the other side naman, sa side ng mga hospitals, so in fairness naman, may mga claim naman talaga silang honest to goodness yung So kailan din po matatapos itong ginagawa ninyong investigation at ma-ensure na rin yung bayad na nasa kanila, kasi na para sa kanila, dahil Madam Chair, alam naman natin apektado rin yung services, yung mga employees ng mga hospitals ay talagang umaasa lang dito sa mga bayad na ganito. So kailan po, may timeline po ba kung kailan matatapos itong mga investigation at mabayaran na rin yung mga hospitals na may mga claim din na talaga namang valid claims?
Madam Chair, with the Attorney Tolentino, as regards sa investigation ho, pag nakita naman ho namin na walang basehan yung reklamo at talagang valid yung claim, ay dinidismiss naman ho agad-agad yung mga ganyang complaints. Pag itong mga gantong unang ni-refer sa legal ay na-dismiss, ma-bring back siya sa status na in process. So ipoproseso na ho agad-agad ito para kung wala na hong ibang problema, mababayaran agad-agad po.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Last manifestation, kaya ito kasi na magiging problema natin, na kung saan ang health services ay tinuturing na parang commodity. Kaya yung mga packages na yan, hindi natin masyadong malaman, lalong-lalo na yung mga mamamayan natin, kung talaga bang reasonable itong mga expenses na nakaano dun sa mga packages na yan. So kaya po talagang dapat pag-isipan talaga natin itong sa PhilHealth, kung talagang kung talagang magiging best instrument ito doon sa pagbibigay natin ng health services sa ating mga mamamayan. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Kong Franz. Regarding doon sa issue kanina raised by Kong Dalia Loyola, no, I read your advisory. I just want to ask, bakit doon sa advisory, merong distinction between government and private? Why does it have to be that the private hospital or private healthcare institution need to justify the claims? Considering pareho naman silang facility or hospital that render care. So anong pagkakaiba, bakit ang private hospital ay may burden to justify? Can we ask Philhealth? Anyone from Philhealth? Iniwan na yata tayo ng Philhealth. Okay. My question on the advisory lang po since Representative Dalia is still on board. Kasi may sinabi po kayo dito na however, private healthcare institution shall submit a letter of justification with a claim. Okay? Same with the next paragraph. You said, hence, based on the issuance, patients including COVID-19 cases being admitted and managed in the ER due to lack of available regular rooms shall be paid accordingly if patients stayed within the hospital for at least 24 hours. Private hospitals should submit letter of justification with claim as required by the above-mentioned Philhealth circular. Bakit pinapahirap po natin ang buhay ng ating mga partners? Can someone answer my question?
Madam Chair, this is Dr. Marisa.
Okay, Dr. Aklem.
As mentioned, no, this was just taken, a reiteration, advisory is just a reiteration of the previous circular. And it was actually stated in that circular about the provision on the private hospitals. Taking into account po yung inyong concern, we will probably have to take a second look at this and review this policy as soon as possible so that during this pandemic, we might consider na po na wag nang humingi ng justification for private hospitals.
Thank you, Dr. Clem. So I'm trying to browse sana that circular. Medyo hindi na po fit kasi fee for service pa ang minimension nyo dito eh. You have the RVU computation pa here. So we are expecting Philhealth to review this policy, ano? I'd like to call on the next interpellator, Representative Caloy Zarate. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Magandang tanghali muli sa ating lahat. Maiksin na lang, Madam Chair, dahil yung mga issues related to this resolution ay parang lumilinaw na. Madam Chair, ang paniniwala kasi ng representasyong ito, dahil ang Philhealth system nga ay sistemang insurance, talagang embedded dito yung mga katiwalian, no? Yung sinasabi kanina na kailangang baguhin ang policy dahil may inaabuso ito, no? That is why even in times of pandemic, it's true that the profiteering is still the motive force of some, no? But I think, Madam Chair, that is not an excuse doon naman sa bagal na pagresponde ng ating mga ahensya, no? Especially itong dahil sa kasalukuyan nakasandig dito sa Philhealth. 7 months is 7 months, no? For them to come up with this kind of resolution or circular, no, na ni-retroact pa nila by November. Now, we welcome the statement of President Geran kanina and the other members of Philhealth and the board, no, that they will reconsider or study back this PC 2009, no, PC 2108, no, that retroacts to the November of 2020. Ang siguro, Madam Chair, una, para lang talaga sa kaliwanagan ng committee ito at ng mga miyembro ng committee ito, may we request, Madam Chair, Philhealth, the board, as well as the management to submit the timeline No? Ano ang nangyari doon from November when this resolution by the board was issued up to June 15, kasi June 15 na ilabas yung circular. Saan dumaan ito? Kasi sabi nila ni route ito, nagkaroon ng delay, no? So this representation request that a timeline be provided to us para makita natin, Madam Chair, kanino ang accountability sa delay nito, kasi kanina nagpapasahan sila. The legal is saying December lang kasi ako na-appoint, no? And I'm not in the position. Now the management is saying like this and like that, and the board is saying another thing, no? So we want to know saan ang point of accountability. Second, Madam Chair, they said that they will now refer this back to the board for a study reconsideration. Sana naman po hindi umabot uli ng 7 months, no? Dahil, Madam Chair, even as we speak now, the lives of our kababayan are at stake, no? We already breached the 30,000 deaths. Thousands have been infected by this COVID-19, at kailangan mabilisan ang ating pagtugon sa mga pangyayaring ito. Hindi na mag-aantay pa ng 7 buwan at tapos i-retroact. Ay tama pala, dapat November, tama yung November, kaya i-retroact natin. So yun yung dalawang points na gusto kong i-register dito, Madam Chair. Ang lahat ng mga katanungan na-raise na ng ating mga kasamahan, but moving forward, no, ang resolution na ito na inihain ng ating kagalang-galang na chair ay hindi magiging bitin, no, na walang mangyayari. Dahil everyday, alam naman natin na ang pangunahing problema pa rin ng bansa ngayon na itong COVID-19. No? With all these variants coming out now, people are so confused, people are already mentally affected, even members of Congress, kung how do we respond on this kind of situation. Tapos, now we will be confronted with this situation na nagdili-dali, nagpapasahan ng sisi ang mga kagawad ng Philhealth. Not only from the management, but even as doon sa board. No? So yun lang ang manifestation ko, Madam Chair. If Philhealth will respond to this, we will appreciate it. But I hope they will do this request that I made as soon as possible. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Kong Kaloy, for patiently waiting and for actively participating in this hearing. May I task Philhealth to provide the committee on the timeline of events that Kong Kaloy has been asking. Do you want to respond?
Madam Chair, if I may, Attorney Santos, Madam Chair.
Attorney Santos, please proceed.
We will provide the committee, Madam Chair, on the required report as to what happened, why it took Philhealth 7 months to issue a circular on this matter, Mr. Chair. And we commit to submit such report, Madam Chair, on or before August 23, 2021, Madam Chair. And with respect, Madam Chair, on our commitment to bring this matter again to the board, Madam Chair, the corporate secretary is present in this meeting today, and we requested...
Attorney Santos, may I know who's the corporate secretary now?
Attorney Laura Makasar, Madam Chair.
Attorney Laura
Makasar, Madam Chair.
Makasar.
Yes, Madam Chair. We requested her, Madam Chair, and she approved that this matter be included in the agenda during the board meeting.
Madam Chair, excuse me, Madam Chair, and to
Yes,
Attorney Santos, may we just call on the corporate secretary for the record, for her to state for the record that commitment, no? Not just coming from Attorney Santos, Madam Chair.
May we hear from Attorney Laura Makasar?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. This is Attorney Laura Mangasar, the OIC Corporate Secretary of Philhealth. And yes, I do confirm that our COO has scheduled for the next board meeting this August 25, the presentation of this matter, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Continue. Attorney
Madam
Santos.
Chair.
Kindly continue.
Madam Chair. Stella.
We just finished Attorney Santos, Kong Stella. Attorney Santos.
For me, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, that's all for me. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Congressman Karate.
Kong Kaloy, are you done?
Yes, Madam Chair, I will yield to the next interpellator. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Kong Stella, short interjection.
Yes, Madam Chair. Since I also asked that question earlier, why now only? What's the cause of the delay? Kung pwede rin pong i-submit sa office ko po yung report. Thank you po.
Yes. Philhealth, please furnish Constella and the members also, not only the committee, the copy of that documents that Kong Kaloy and Constella asked earlier. May I call the next interpellator, Representative Cheryl De Loso Montalia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Alam ko pong medyo
Conspirator na. May bagong terminology.
po ang lahat.
Okay.
But listening from our previous colleagues who asked questions, most of my questions were already answered. Pero gusto ko lang po ng clarification, Madam Chair. Bakit meron tayong November 20 na reckoning period? Anong meron sa November 20?
Yes, Philhealth. I think ito yung board resolution, Philhealth board resolution. Naipasa yata nila ang board resolution ng November.
So there was a meeting of the board at that time?
Yeah. Ang basis kasi ng Philhealth circular is a board resolution.
Okay, but
Philhealth, can you respond?
Madam Chair, the basis for the November 26 is that is the date of approval of the board.
That was the date of the approval of the new circular, or Clem?
Resolution.
Approval of the policy by the board.
Of the new.
We developed the circular.
Okay. May curious lang po ako, if you had a meeting and you developed new policies, do you advise the healthcare providers that there is a pending changes in policies of Philhealth? Or the healthcare providers still need for the actual circular? Kasi kung ganito po ang nagkakaroon tayo ng problema, mayroon tayong board meeting, nag-change tayo ng policy, and then it took us a long time before we advise the healthcare providers. So in the meantime, nagagastusan po sila, it unduly burdens the healthcare providers. Wala po ba tayong system na pag merong pending or viable changes in policies, naaabisuhan na po natin ang mga healthcare providers para maiayos naman nila kaagad yung claims nila at hindi sila umasa?
Kongche, actually, if I can answer na lang, no, even their advisory, it was released or dated May 18, 2021.
Yun na nga, masyadong late na, Madam Chair.
Yeah, so 6 months after then the board resolution. But siyempre, yung Philhealth advisory, hindi naman ito ang nagiging reference talaga ng ating mga healthcare providers kasi yung details of that policy should be in the circular.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Isu-shorten ko na lang po. Ano ang solution ng Philhealth to bridge the gap from November 2020 to the current claims? Kasi meron na po tayong problema. So, ang ating tendency is to really find a solution to this problem. So, ano po ang nakikita niyong way how we can bridge that and address the concerns of the healthcare providers?
Madam Chair, if I may, Attorney Santos, Madam Chair.
Please proceed, Attorney Santos.
Madam Chair, as we stated a while ago, we will bring this matter back to the board because, Madam Chair, it is the Philhealth board that approves policies, Madam Chair. So to modify this policy, we will bring this matter as we committed, Madam Chair, we will bring this matter back to the board for possible modification, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
May I know, Attorney, if you still have to wait for the regular meeting of the board Or will you schedule a special meeting just to address this problem?
Already confirmed that this will be included as part of the agenda this coming board meeting on August 25, 2021, Madam Chair. That will be next week, Madam Chair.
Salamat po sa commitment ng Philhealth kasi ang ating pong mga healthcare providers ay napaka-importanting partners natin, especially in this time of pandemic. Kung hindi po kaya ng ating mga, not only the government hospitals, pero kailangan din po natin ng tulong ng ating mga private health care providers. So sana po sa meeting ninyo, katulad din po ng sentimento ng lahat ng mga nagtanong, ay unang-una i-address po natin itong napakalaking problema na ito kasi ayaw naman po nating mabankrupt ang ating mga kapartner sa pag-address, pag-respond sa COVID pandemic. Secondly, pwede po kaya na i-include na rin natin ang pag-review ng benefit packages. Kasi po, alam natin na nagkaroon tayo ng problema in the past na yung bill na supposedly 140,000, but if the patient is declared COVID positive in a critical condition, kahit na 140,000 lang yung bill, ay 786 dahil yun yung case rate niya. Pwede include na din sa discussion on how we can create a most appropriate or correct benefit packages and case rates. And thirdly, Madam Chair, sa tingin ko kaya rin tayo nagkakaproblema sa review nitong mga claims kasi mukhang kakaunti yata ang ating mga ang personnel natin sa legal department ng Philhealth. Ang yaman-yaman po ng Philhealth, pwede po kayo magdagdag tayo ng tao para mas mabilis yung proseso so we can facilitate addressing the payment of claims, especially the legitimate claims of our providers. Yun lang po, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Che. Thank you for supporting this hearing. May we ask Philhealth, ilan po ba ang employees ninyo or staff at the legal division?
At saka alam ko yata, Madam Chair, napaka-centralized yata ng pagre-review nila ng claims.
Yeah, actually in previous dialogue or hearing in the Committee on Health last Congress, na-bring up na natin yan if the quasi-judicial power, pwede ba na at the regional level? Although they were raising issue on the check and balance doon sa pagdating sa, I think, sa regional level, no? Kasi yung denied cases, nire-recommend ng regional offices papunta sa central office, but it took years before nila ma-actionan yung denied cases. So I think that's one of the pending commitments ng previous leadership ng Philhealth sa akin when I was the chair of the Committee on Health in last Congress, 17th Congress, on how can we improve the system and the process to prevent yung mga fraudulent actions, no? So may we ask Philhealth, gaano ba kalaki ang structure ng legal division ninyo? Attorney Santos.
Attorney Santos, Madam Chair, may I request, Madam Chair, that Attorney J.M. Tolentino, the SVP of Legal Sector, Madam Chair, be recognized to answer that, Madam Chair.
Attorney Tolentino.
Yes, Madam Chair. I don't have the exact figures with me right now, ma'am. But to give you a picture, in the central office, the legal sector is composed of 4 departments. In a department, Madam Chair, we have 2 to 3 lawyers per department. So that's around 12 to 14 in the central office.
Attorney, ano yung mga departments na yan?
That's the fact-finding, investigation and enforcement department, prosecution department, protest appeals and review department, and the internal legal department, Madam Chair. Tapos po, doon sa mga regional offices natin, may mga pro-legal din po kami per region. Meron siguro per region may isa ho kaming abogado. Actually, meron isa o dalawang regional office na ang legal office namin parang under bar pa po yung nag-head. So, Madam Chair, and the committee, we would really welcome yung yung pagtulong niyo po sa amin to increase our manpower complement kasi actually the Philhealth kami lang po siguro na government financial institution catering to 110 million members. Kasi with the advent with the UHC, ngayon kinikater namin talaga lahat ng buong Pilipinas na well, compared to other government financial institutions na yung miyembro ay limitado kumpara sa amin. So hihingi po kami ng tulong with the permission of our PCEO and the indulgence of Madam Chair.
But you've requested already sa GOCC for additional manpower.
Madam Chair, yes, we confirm we are coordinating with the GCG. Madam
GCG. Oh, sorry,
yes.
sorry. GCG.
And actually, we are in the process of reorganization, and hopefully, pag makatulong din yung kayo po. Hihingi po kami tulong sa inyo para talaga we need to beef up our complement Not only sa legal, actually mas marami po yung claims processors namin sa IT. Actually buong Philhealth Sa totoo lang, salamat po.
Yeah, the whole corporation is badly needed kayo ng additional manpower. No? Anyway, next to ask question is Representative June Gato. Kong June?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, this is just a follow-up of Kong Kaloy's question. We welcome the commitment of the Philhealth to review and study the Philhealth Circular 008. May I know I understand you will have a meeting on August 25. May I know kung gaano ba katagal namin ma-expect na magkakaroon yung revised or yung modified na circular? Will it take about a month or two before we can come up with a revised circular? And when will it be implemented? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Philhealth? Anyone from Philhealth? Yes po, from Philhealth. Anyone from Philhealth?
Madam Chair, if I may, Attorney Santos, Madam Chair.
Yes, Attorney Santos.
Madam Chair, we committed to bring this matter to the board. But then again, Madam Chair, this is subject to the approval of the board. If the board approves this, then we commit, Madam Chair, to fast track the issuance of the circular, Madam Chair. We already learned our lesson, Madam Chair.
Okay.
We do not want this to happen again. So we commit to issue the circular as fast as we can, Madam Chair. It's just that we cannot commit a specific date, Madam Chair, but I'm sure all the officers of the corporation, the Philhealth, will coordinate, Madam Chair, to come up with a circular after the board approves the modification, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much.
Will
May commitment na Kong June ang ang PhilHealth, and later on, Kong Ging will provide us a motion so that we can compel PhilHealth to take action based on the output ng atin pong hearing.
Madam Chair, will it take about a year or 6 months or 3 months? Can we have more or less an estimate, the usual time frame, Madam Chair?
Actually, Kong Jun, hihingin natin sa kanila the most siguro is 3 weeks, no? So, they have to comply on our timeline, no? To come back to the committee and present to us ano ang naging progress made by PhilHealth based on what we hear today.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Kong Jun. Siguro before we adjourn, I have some questions lang to PhilHealth on PC 2021-008 on item 1 to 5, no? Policy statements, letter C. Please refer to policy statements, letter C. It's stated here, PhilHealth shall accept results of antibody tests done in the hospital or DOH licensed laboratories as adjunct test for diagnosing COVID-19 if all of the following criteria are met. Number 1, patients have symptoms for at least 15 days. Number 2, 2 RT-PCR tests were negative. And 3, with clinical and diagnostic manifestations of COVID-19. Hence, claims for COVID-19 inpatient packages that fulfill these criteria shall be paid. In these cases, copies of 2 RT-PCR test results and antibody test results shall be attached to the claims. Though my question is, why antibody test, not antigen test? Can someone explain it to me? Bakit po antibody test ang hinihingi natin and not antigen test? Considering na ito pong, I understand during the early months, no, last year, at the onset of COVID-19, what we are using is antibody test, no? But nag-evolve yan at nagkaroon po ng antigen test, no? In fact, ito din ang ginagawa ngayon ng Department of Health doon sa mga hotspots nila. And we consider, I think, counted yung mga patients na nag-positive na reported o counted and reported na yung nag-positive sa antigen test. You issued this circular June 17, 2021. Can someone explain it to me?
Madam Chair, this is Dr. Clem.
Yes, Doc Clem.
Yung pong consideration of the antibody test was recommended by the expert panel of the board to be used so that for those with RT-PCR negative tests, and then they have a confirmed, they have a positive antibody test, they can still be paid with the COVID package, the COVID inpatient package. And also, these recommendations or criteria here are based on the HTAC recommendation. And as to the antigen test, PhilHealth is currently conducting a study on this and for a possible issuance of benefit package for antigen test.
Parang yung HTAC ay huli din sa recommendation yata, ano? So we'll call the attention of HTAC to update naman the recommendation to PhilHealth. Sabi nyo nga, nag-evolve yung COVID-19. So as the scientific knowledge, no? So we'll ask, kasi kung paano kung hindi antibody na ang ginagamit ng mga hospitals, but the antigen testing. So siguro for consideration, since magre-review kayo nitong circular na ito, to coordinate again with HTAC, but I'll write a letter to HTAC regarding what's stated in this circular. Another question is, based on the presentation of Dr. Almora, nakita po natin malaki yung RTH, no? Amounting to 46 billion, if I'm not mistaken. And the denied cases amounting to like 16 billion. Am I right, Dr. Almora? So my question is, how can we improve? Kasi alam natin yung process ng RTH, no? Minsan, sobrang simple ng rason para i-RTH, and how can we improve your process? For the information of Attorney Dante Geran, siguro po 3 president na ng Philhealth ang paulit-ulit ko pong iniimbitahan at nakikipag-dialogue ako on how can we improve the system and the process ng RTH. No? Minsan, ang simple ng rason, hindi nakita sa system ang signature ng attending physician. So, RTH siya. It will take how many days plus up how many days to comply. That's simple. So, how can we improve that process na hindi kailangan bumalik? Pwede ba sa system ninyo na your reviewer or yung mga the medical evaluators or kung sino man yung nag-evaluate po ng mga claims ay pwede bang mag-coordinate lang doon sa mga concerned hospital so that hindi bumabalik na at natatagalan. So, kumusta po ang system at this time? Because as far as I remember, there were talks on improving the IT infrastructure. So, kumusta na po ang IT infrastructure? Because if you improve the IT infrastructure, definitely the system that affects yung mga RTH natin and will improve yung actions nyo on denied cases will improve. So how's the IT infrastructure of Philhealth?
Good morning, Madam Chair. This is Dr. Art Alcantara, and acting CIO po of Philhealth.
Please proceed, Dr. Art.
Yes po, no? Currently po, no, pinitipa po namin yung aming network. Magdadagdag po kami ng primary link ay secondary link po para hindi po kami nagre-rely sa isang network lang po, no? So para po mas maluwag po yung pagpapadala po ng mga e-claims papunta po sa Philhealth, no? Para hindi po nagre-rely sa isang service provider. So isa po yun, ano? Pangalawa po, magdadagdag po kami ng cloud storage. Ibig sabihin po, para hindi po mag-bottleneck yung pagsasubmit po, no, ng mga e-claims sa Philhealth, doon po isasubmit yung mga attachments po doon sa cloud storage. So pangalawa po yun, ano. And pangatlo po, may mga enhancements din po kami internally. Magkakaroon po kami ng system para po connected po lahat ng mga proseso po namin within Philhealth, no. Ang tawag po namin dito ay ERP at saka CRM. So yun po yung mga malalaking investment po namin para po mapabilis yung mga proseso po inside Philhealth and pagsasabit po ng mga e-claims po sa Philhealth. Yun lang po.
Gusto ko lang pong itanong din, so meron na kayong naka-pipeline na for implementation and your target to complete this projects is up to when? When do we expect you to complete this improvement on IT infrastructure, Doc Art?
Yung for example po, yung aming network enhancement po namin, like for example yung cloud saka yung primary link po namin para po maluwag po yung bandwidth. Immediately po ito, i-gagawin na po namin within 3 months po, no? So, nakapila na po sa procurement po namin ito, no? And for the internal enhancements po, like for example po yung nabanggit po kanina, ERP saka CRM, we will procure this via PSDDM And so immediately po, mabibili na po namin and then ma-start na rin po yung development. So, medyo mahaba po yung proseso for the development kasi papalitan po namin yung systems within Philhealth, no? So it will take around a year po ito, no? So pero immediately po, once na napili na po namin sa PSTBM, we will start development and within next year po, matatapos po yung development para po ma-implement po namin yung pagbabago po ng mga systems within PhilHealth. Maraming salamat.
Doc Art, is it possible that PhilHealth provides also that system for the claims, no, or filing of the claims to the partner hospitals? The accredited hospital, is it possible? Kasi currently, ang nakita nating problema, the hospitals are getting provider and ang nagkakaproblema yung provider nila is not compatible or hindi kayo, I think your system and their system, frequently nagkakaroon ng problema. Would it be possible?
Pwede pong pwede pong magkaroon ng compatibilities, no? Once na improve na po, napalitan na po yung systems within, and then i-announce na po namin sa mga hospitals at sa mga service providers po ng mga hospital pag hindi po sila capable of developing their own systems, i-share po namin yung mga standards na sa mga pagbabago po within PhilHealth para po mapabilis na pag-certify.
Okay, thank you so much, Doc Art. So, kay President Attorney Dante, ang request po namin doon sa presentation ni Dr. Almora earlier, no, that is a data coming from PhilHealth on the in-process, RTH, and denied, that you act the fastest that you can on these pending claims of the hospital. I think very clear naman po, na naririnig lang din po sa mga radio interviews yung concern, no, lamentations ng ating mga hospital operators na hirap na silang magpatakbo ng kanilang facilities because of the unpaid claims. I know may mga reasons din from their end, no? May mga inefficiencies, but as you mentioned earlier, meron na mga regions na you were able to address the current problem, no? But hopefully maging proactive ang ating mga regional vice presidents and sana klaro na yung mga polisiya that you implement in the coming days and months, no? Attorney Geran, can we ask your commitment po?
Thank you, Madam Congressman Tan, for that request. At the moment, we are having this programs. We will commit the streamlining of the process, of the RTH, and of course, this will involve also dialogue by our regions with the healthcare institutions. And of course, the reconciliation process is going on, basically to identify which of those claims are what we call this clean claims, or what we call this good claims rather, and all these things, dialogues, and then so that to make things easy, not only for us but also for the healthcare institutions, which are actually our authentic partners in our mandate as administrator or implementer of the National Health Insurance Program of the government. As a matter of fact, our takers right now, no, are being mobilized, and the PIMs, no, para makatulong po. And ito na nga po, we have also sought the support of your very good colleague, Congressman Jojo Lara, para doon sa kanyang mga tao na harap sa amin. And opo, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Geran, no? So we're expecting sana if you can provide, then PhilHealth can provide the Committee on Health on the progress that each of the regional offices has been made in the coming months, no? On the performance po, kung how much na ang nabayaran, how much ang RTH, ang may nakakasuhan ba kayo? Kasi the way I see it, whenever sinasabi nyo na may mga fraudulent acts, ang ginagawa nyo, nire-revise nyo po yung mga policies ninyo. So, hindi ba pwede na meron po kayong mas maigting na fraudulent detection? Napatibay nyo na po ba yung aspeto na yan? Kasi kung nagre-react kayo by keep on changing your policies, parang sa pagtingin ko lang po hindi tama, no? So ano pong meron na sistema sa PhilHealth para paigtingin yung fraudulent detections?
Madam Hilton, for asking the question. Now, when I came, Madam, my first project then, being new, was coordinate with my old employer, the NBI. So we are having, or we have the MOA with NBI to give us investigating arm for those fraudulent claims. And we would like to inform this committee that during my time with my close coordination with the NBI had already filed, of course, with the help of the Philhealth regional offices, 16 cases, Madam. That's criminal cases. The NBI had filed 16 criminal cases. And then there were also allegations, or rather report in the hearing in both houses about abuse of hemodialysis, repetitive what we call this procedure. And that's why we increase our benefits for hemodialysis from 90 sessions in 1 year to 144 for just for 2021. No? Para po extend konti yung life ng ating mga kababayan na may sakit, no, kailangan ng dialysis. And as a safety net, Madam Chair, we have this partnership with the PSA on the data sharing, what we call data sharing activity for death information, death record information. Para yung ano nila, ibabangga doon sa records namin. With that, mawawala na yung sinasabi ng mga yung pati patay po dinadialysis, no?
Okay. And thank you, Attorney Goran. Thank you so much po for that policy that currently you are implementing, no? Ang importante lang siguro, sir, napakaganda po nung inyong ginagawa. Ang nakakalungkot lang kasi minsan sa pagtingin ng PhilHealth, laging niloloko ng hospital yung PhilHealth, no? I think yung confusion doon sa mga policies that you implement, no? Sometimes nagiging cause din siya to interpret it as a fraudulent act. Kaya nga po nakafocus ako more on improving the policies that you are currently implementing, no? At tingnan natin kung papaano ninyo ipinapatupad at paigtingin po ninyo yung pagpapaliwanag doon sa ating mga implementers, especially the regional offices. So maganda naman po yung ginagawa ninyo, pero yung policy, minsan yung loopholes, yun yung nagiging reason para kayo po ay madaya, no? O lokohin, which I think yun yung essence ng panawagan na to, no? Binibigyan nyo ng pagkakataon ang iba, hindi naman lahat, majority naman po ay hindi gumagawa niyan. Siguro kung meron, may iilan, no? At yung mismong policy po ang merong butas para maging dahilan para magiging mukha kayo ay nagkakaroon po ng fraudulent acts from the claimants, no? But ang importante sa akin is that huwag mag-suffer yung ating mga pasyente or members, and at the same time din naman yung ating mga healthcare facilities, because especially at this time of pandemic, no? Kung magsarado, balita ko po may nagsarado pong maliliit na hospitals. So, ito yung panahon na kailangan sila. Okay, so meron pa po bang additional na question ng ating mga kasamahan na nandito.
Madam Chair, just one short, if I may be allowed.
Yes po, please
Yes, Madam Chair.
proceed.
Now I understand, Madam Chair, what triggered the amendment sa kanilang policy last November was the hearing conducted by both houses, no, involving the IRM, the interim reimbursement mechanism. No? That's that 15 billion. And I read a while ago na Philhealth said, wala nang problema ito, tapos na ang problemang ito because it was already fully accounted for, no, liquidated. Well, to this representation, Madam Chair, full liquidation doesn't necessarily mean na tapos na yung problemang alleged anomaly in the grant of the IRM. No? Magkaiba yun. No? So, gusto nating hingiin sa PhilHealth, Madam Chair, yung full report on how this IRM, yung sabi nilang full liquidation of IRM was made. Ano yung findings nila? Because that's the crux of the investigation, I think last year, no? Nung tinitingnan natin yung IRM. And finally, is that mechanism, IRM, still in place today or not anymore? No? If it is no longer in place, was that the result of the findings previously made by both houses as to some anomalies in the implementation of that IRM? So yun lang yung gusto kong pahabol, Madam Chair, dahil apparently ito nga yung nag-trigger nitong change of policy.
Okay, thank you, Kong Kaloy. I think in relation to that question ni Kong Kaloy, is the DCPM you are implementing right now the same with the IRM? Anyone from PhilHealth? Siguro po updates on the IRM na fully liquidated na po ba ito ng ating mga hospitals? And anybody? Attorney Santos?
Yes, ma'am. This is po Attorney Emily Roque, the Acting Senior Vice President of the Land Management Sector. If I may, Congressman Tan.
Yes, ma'am. Please proceed.
Yes po. With regard, ma'am, to the IRM liquidation, out of the 14.97 billion releases of PhilHealth for the IRM, you're able to liquidate around 14.8 billion plus, equivalent to 99.49%. Now, currently, we are making coordination with our regional offices who does the processing of this liquidation to ensure that the full liquidation will be attained this the September 30, 2021, Madam Chair. And also the Commission on Audit is also conducting a series of audit on this liquidation in all our regional offices. And there are some findings that they made on this IRM liquidation that we are now currently validating, like the manner of liquidation or the claims charged for this liquidation, Madam Chair. And with regard to the balances of this IRM, we also refer to our legal sector, the hospitals with a big outstanding balance for this IRM for issuance of the demand letter, Madam Chair. This is to ensure as mandated or directed by the Congress during the past hearings, we have to ensure the full liquidation of this amount and monitoring of the basis of the liquidation vis-a-vis the unpaid claims, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Yung DCPM po, is it the same with IRM?
The DCPM, ma'am, is very much different with the IRM. Ito pong IRM, ito po ay in a way prospective payment, no? Binigay po ito sa mga hospitals na without any condition as to the claims na pwedeng i-charge dito na hawak ng PhilHealth. So para po itong cash advance And then subject na lang po sa liquidation ng hospital base sa mga claims na sasubmit po nila. Ang DCPM, Madam Chair, ito po ay initial payment po ito ng Philhealth sa mga utang, no? Sa mga claims na in possession na po ang Philhealth. So out of these unpaid claims of Philhealth to the hospital institutions, and for them to augment their financial capabilities, no, through DCPM, we pay an initial amount of 60% of the total unpaid claims. Then another 40% shall be subject to reconciliation. Yan po, Madam Chair, flash po sa
I think, Ma'am Roque, pareho ang konsepto eh. You pay 60%, tama, and then the remaining 40% subject to reconciliation. It's just that meron kayo ditong hindi siya available for all.
Yeah.
Meron certain provinces lang kayo na and level of hospital that is allowed to participate in DCPM.
Madam Chair, as to the claims po, sa DCPM, Madam Chair, nasa amin na po yung claim. Meron na pong claim ang hospital sa Philhealth. At doon po namin ibabase yung ibabayad namin sa kanilang 60%.
Ay, Ma'am Roque, bakit hindi nyo na lang bayadan kaysa mag-debit credit pa kayo? Bilisan nyo na lang ang pagbabayad.
Actually, ma'am, this is the, yes ma'am, I agree ma'am na yun po ang isang mabilis na remedy din po, no, na i-process na lang po lahat. But then, Madam Chair, based din po sa call ng IATF, at the time po na nagkaroon po ng surge last March, so ang kailangan po is immediate payment, Madam Chair. And this was coordinated by the IATF with the Commission on Audit to allow us to have this kind of payment to the hospitals just to address the COVID cases response of Philhealth on this matter. Aligned with this DCPM naman, Madam Chair, meron po kaming mga strategies na ginawa po na to have this DCPM sa temporary measure lang, Madam Chair. So ngayon po, umaandar na po itong mga strategies na to. Ongoing po ang ating mga discussions and negotiations with the PHA, with all our regional offices, to ensure na papunta po kami sa direksyon na sinasabi niyo, Madam Chair, na i-process na lang po ng mas mabilis. So hopefully, Madam Chair, mag-end po itong DCPM and then po kami na mas mabilis na proseso ng mga unpaid claims. Ang another difference po nito, Madam Chair, if I may, sa IRM is that selected po, no? Tama po, selected po ang mga lugar, no? Na pwede pong magkaroon ng DCPM, and this is based on the recommendation of the IATF. So this is for areas under ECQ and ECQ identified by IATF. As mentioned, 60% subject to withholding tax of in-process claims to be released as initial payment, and the remaining 40% again subject to withholding tax to be released upon reconciliation of the initial releases.
Okay, that's all.
Madam Chair, just a quick follow-up. May we know how much is allocated to this DCPM? And finally, may we request that the PowerPoint be provided to the committee as well as to the members?
Yes po, sir.
May we know how much is allocated to DCPM?
On the screen, Kaloy, it's actually 6.694
Okay. Thank you.
billion. So kindly provide the committee on the details. No, DCPM, Ma'am Roque.
Yes po, ma'am. Yes po.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Kaloy. I think that's all for today's hearing. Meron pa akong question, but I'll just ask na lang yung in charge on the program, especially the Consulta package and the latest circular that you provided, the 2021-0012 on, I think, the payment of benefits.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Dr. Almora. One last ano po at mag-motion na po yung ating kasamahan.
Yes po. We have some concerns here which we would like to bring to the attention of the committee and and to Philhealth also. And this is about the causes of denial of claims where our claims are denied because they are not compensable, and there is a need, Madam Chair, to revisit these policies of PhilHealth to make it consistent with the Universal Healthcare Law, which provides that all Filipinos shall be qualified to PhilHealth benefit. So one of the policy that needs to be revisited, Madam Chair, is the less than 24 hours policy, as was already mentioned a while ago by our honorable congressman, that this is one of the policies that really denies PhilHealth coverage to the contributors, as well as if the contributors unable to pay the hospital for that less than 24-hour confinement, it is the hospital that absorbs the loss. Another policy that needs to be revisited, Madam Chair, that is inconsistent with the Universal Healthcare Law is the single period of confinement policy, wherein diseases of the same diagnosis that falls within 90 days readmitted. For example, a diarrhea that amoebic intestinal amoebiasis, for example, causing diarrhea, is admitted, and within a period of 90 days, that patient is again readmitted, that other claim is not going to be paid because it is covered by the policy of single period of confinement, violation of the single period of confinement. This violation is not within the control of the hospitals, Madam Chair. But it is one reason of the denial of claims. Another policy that needs to be revisited and to be considered to be amended is the 45-day benefit limit. A patient has given only 45 days within 1 year to qualify for PhilHealth benefit. Again, Madam Chair, this is one common cause of denial of claims of hospitals, which the hospital has no control whatsoever. We will have no way of knowing that that patient has already consumed 45 days. There is no record to look into. So, and again, it is contradictory to the purpose of the Universal Healthcare Law, Madam Chair, not to provide benefit to patients for more than 45.
Dr. Almora, sa system po ng mga health facilities, di po ba meron doong system na nakalink sa DOH? So, let's say ako pumunta sa hospital, but in the last 20 days, I was hospitalized from a different hospital. Hindi po nakikita doon, no? Unless na natag na ng PhilHealth or binayada na.
Yes, Madam Chair. Remember that the processing of claims, the hospital is given 60 days to submit.
Yes.
That is 2 months. And then the PhilHealth is also given 60 days to process. So there's that possibility that within 90 days, the PhilHealth, the people in PhilHealth who are updating their portal for us to get the information are unable to update. And for the 45-day limit also.
That's one point earlier that I'm raising yung system talaga nila sobrang ang daming problems, no? Kasi hindi dapat fault ng admitting hospital yon kung hindi na check o hindi nakita sa system na in the last 45 days ay na-confine na pala siya from another facility, and then here you are, inadmit mo and you render care. And ginamit mo yung corresponding PhilHealth benefit, right? So, wala na yung pasyente, hindi naman natin nasisingil ang pasyente, di ba, Dr. Almora?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yung unanswered question ko pala kanina, naalala ko, pwede bang singilin ang pasyente pagka ganon? Kasi nagamit na, if you have that 45 and 90 days and single confinement, may we hear from the PhilHealth. Although that's part of our request to PhilHealth to review, no? Kasi aligned with UHC, wala na po yung single confinement, wala yung 45 days and 90 days. PhilHealth? parang ang burden talaga nasa facility eh. Yun yung nangyayari at this time. Imagine ma-deny ka na hindi mo kasalanan. It's because of the policy currently being implemented and your system, also your process.
There was a time, Madam Chair.
Yes.
There was a time that my hospital received a letter from our regional office asking me to explain why in our monthly report there are patients that does not have Philhealth that is not covered by Philhealth benefit when the universal healthcare law is already under implementation, and all Filipinos are supposed to be under Philhealth coverage. So I have to explain and I have to tell them that do you still have your policy? No 45, the patient who has been confined for within 90 days is a violation of single period. And then there are patients that are confined for less than 24 hours, and upon their request, they are discharged even without 24 hours. And also there are 45 days. So it is being inconsistent, Madam Chair. And our request is for these policies to be scrapped for reason that it is inconsistent with the universal healthcare law, and
Yeah,
it is giving burden to patients and to hospitals alike.
Yeah. Can we hear from Philhealth? One last comment from Philhealth on the issue raised by Dr. Almora, although that's one of the policies that you need to review and improve, and we're expecting you to correct it sana for the benefit of our patients, no, of our countrymen. Dr. Clem or Attorney Santos?
Madam Chair, if I may, Attorney Santos. Madam Chair.
Yes, Attorney Santos.
Madam Chair, we will fully consider the recommendations of Dr. Almora, Madam Chair. We understand his concerns, Madam Chair. Personally, Madam Chair, my view is there is really a need to revisit all the policies of PhilHealth and revise them in accordance with the Universal Healthcare Act, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
And may I request, Madam Chair, for Dr. Clem Bautista, Madam Chair, for additional comments, Madam Chair.
Doc Clem?
Again, Madam Chair, if I might just add that fortunately during this pandemic po, yung requirement po for single period of confinement and 45 days requirement is currently waived. And that also, apart from this, the submission of the claims has been extended from 60 days to 120 days. And as mentioned by Attorney Eli, given the UHC Act, we are actually studying the potential revision of this policy. Of course, this is in coordination with our actuarial department.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Clem. Request ko din yung sa policy nyo, yung recently ninyong inilabas na I mentioned earlier, yung -0012 regarding doon sa benefits, whichever is lower yung babayadan ninyo, no? Kanina nakita ko sa recommendation ni Dr. Almora yung to go back to fee for service. Nakasaad naman yan sa UHC that you need to review the current case rates, no? O kung ano mang hybrid method of payments ang pwede, basta this is beneficial to both, no? To the patients, mas maliit ang out of pocket niya, and also to our partner hospitals. Hindi naman din siya lugi being our partner, no? So still, a hospital is a business rin. Hindi naman po pwede na talo siya, paano siya i-operate. So pakisama yon sa i-review nyo and kindly update. Supposed to be, meron tayong briefing ng UHC but we canceled it to give way doon sa 1:30 hearing ng Committee on Public Accounts. But we'll see you again, probably will provide communication next week. Okay, can we call on Kong Ging?
Yes, yes, Madam Chair. para hindi po masayang yung 4 hours and a half natin na meeting at saka oras dito, may I make a motion?
Please proceed, Kongging.
I move that we adopt House Resolution number 1966 and urge the Philhealth to rectify the apparent mistake in the issued circulars regarding COVID-19 benefit package, review the soundness of the issuances to ensure just and fair policies for the benefit of Filipino people, and expedite the action on the matter. I so move, Madam Chair.
Second.
Second.
Okay. There's a motion. There's a motion to adopt House Resolution 1966 and further urge the Philhealth to rectify that apparent mistakes in the issued circulars regarding COVID-19 benefit package, review the soundness of the issuances to ensure just and fair policies for benefit of the Filipino people, and expedite the action on the matter. Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. So maraming salamat po sa Philhealth family, headed by Attorney Dante Garan, and to Dr. Almora, President of Philippine Hospital Association and representative ng Private Hospital Association, Dr. Jerry Gonzalez. So we'll see you again once ready na ang Philhealth. So we're expecting the soonest possible to act on the subject matter that we discussed today. Maraming salamat po. Can we hear the favorite motion?
I move to adjourn, Madam Chair.
To adjourn, Madam Chair.
Okay. There's a motion to adjourn this meeting. Duly seconded. Is there any objection? I'm sure wala mag-object. Maraming salamat po. The motion is approved. Meeting is now adjourned. See you in another meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank
you, Madam Chair.
We have a productive day, no? So maraming salamat po.